Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome back to A Light in the Dark. So far things are progressing fairly similar to how they did last time. We have made some different choices, but still using kind of the same overall strategy, so hopefully, or same overall goal, thought processing, I don't know. Anyways, same end game, I guess. Which is, no, we don't want the same end game. Yeah, we'll see if we can break the mold and get something better out of this than we did last time, though. So here we go. Day 4, mist. Day 4, morning. My head hurts. Through my eyelids, I felt the sharp sunlight. I opened them to see the little pieces of sky from the window. I passed the long night half asleep. I couldn't recall many details about last night, just how weak I was. The fluctuating temperature rendered my body powerless, and my brain made me feel nauseated like I had a hangover. I felt there was something on my forehead, then realized it was a towel. The ice had been melted by my body heat, making the towel disgustingly wet. Remembering my foggy dream, my heavy heart dropped even further to the bottom. That was the memory of my mother, as well as the last thing I wanted to remember. Was it because of the stress? Yeah. I suddenly realized my hands were free. Only the deep marks on my wrists proved that I wasn't dreaming. I started to move my hands in disbelief and tried to examine the rope on my legs when I heard the cold voice of the girl next to me. Calm down. I will tie you right back up if you dare to touch the rope. The girl was already awake, somehow monitoring my every movement while holding the cell phone. I couldn't see the little girl. I assumed they were taking turns to rest, but I wasn't sure where she'd gone. After the argument and torment from last night, my own animosity against her lessened a lot. Either that or I just had no energy to care. Good morning. I coughed a few times and greeted her with gathered strength. Took care of me last night. She grunted unhappily. The non-committal reaction was her yes. Be quiet and save some energy to take care of yourself. Oh, didn't know you cared about me this much. Shut up. Her shoes on the ground made a tap-tap sound. She walked to me and looked down from above. Stop acting like that. It's disgusting. Is that so? Oh, is that so? We are always acting as some characters in life. For those we cared about and things we wanted, we acted in a way others liked. Isn't that part of being in a society? Tolerating some annoying people? And then turn yourself into a disgusting person. I'd rather die if that's the case. She interrupted me coldly and raised her knife toward me meaningfully. I started to chuckle, seeing her annoyed expression. I hadn't seen such an honest expression of thoughts before. You didn't have to move a finger to kill me. If you'd left me be last night, I could have died. You still have some use now. After that, anything is fair game. She paused before finishing the sentence. There's some seriousness in her expression. You'll kill me after getting the money. After the science, I decided to be transparent. She hesitated, then non-committally shook her head. Who knows? Her attitude seemed to have softened from before. At least she no longer hit me at random or threatened to kill me. If they really didn't care, they wouldn't have bothered to buy medicine for me. It could be my wishful thinking, but I rather believed they had no intention to really do it. So my next step should be keep cooperating. Keep that up. I think we might be able to pull it off this time, but I don't know. I should cooperate and establish a better relationship with them. I might be able to persuade them after winning their trust. Anyway, thank you. For what? For taking care of me. She stumbled momentarily before responding. Tell your dad to cough up the money faster, then. What are you laughing at? Nothing, nothing. I didn't mean to enrage her, so I shook my head, indicating it was nothing. A hostage thanking their kidnapper. This sort of development would make anyone doubt his or her sanity. The argument from yesterday was like a switch, bringing forth emotions long forgotten. Is there anything to eat? My improving condition led to a better appetite. I asked her for food. Here. First a pack of cookies, then she threw a can of something else over. I picked up the can and stared at the cola in hand in confusion. I had no idea why this thing would be here. Do I drink this? Duh, what else would you do with soda? Thanks. I still had no clue, but wouldn't say no to a chance to switch things up. I opened up the cookies obediently to fill my stomach with something first, then washed them down with the soda. So sweet. Since all I had had were crackers and steamed buns, the sudden assault of flavor was too much. Take the medicine afterwards. I have no time to babysit you. The medicine she spoke of was on the desk. The effect was immediate and didn't make me sleepy. I wondered what it was made of. The food and partial freedom allowed me to relax my mind a little. Relaxed hostage? I must have been getting too comfortable with the situation. Well, we'll let you go once your dad pays. As though reading my mind, she spoke to me calmly. This was the softest tone she'd ever used, as though she was comforting me. Not able to bear that gaze, I looked to the window. The more time we spent together, the more I understood her thoughts, her anger, her contempt, and deep down her unease. If there's a way to avoid harming anyone and end all this peacefully... I shook my head, laughing at myself for the naivety of that thought. Okay, actions time. First of all, chat options. What do we have? Real think we can get out of this. How much money do you owe? About what's next? How much does she know about the kidnapping? Those are all fairly interesting. None of them are all that compelling, honestly. I want to look at some observing stuff, because this is new. This box, presumably a box of soda, right? And everything's same over here. So let's start with the new soda box. It's a 6-pack cola. Its packaging indicates that it's salt-flavored. I haven't really had salted cola since elementary school due to its inexplicably weird taste. Where did she even get it from? So you drink cola when you're sick, huh? What do you drink then? Don't you usually have a sports drink? Maybe a hot ginger tea? Nanny would usually make a huge bowl of that for me to drink when I was sick. Just the smell made my scalp tingle, but now even that had become a special memory. That's what we drink in our family. Every time someone got sick, my dad would buy a whole box of it. Said it could fight the fever. The topic brought forth some memories for her. There was some inexplicable emotion as she gazed toward the window. Did it work? I did hear about drinking cola when you have heat stroke, so in that regard it did make sense, I guess. Who knows? It's not poison anyway. It's not as bad as some other sweet drinks. Doesn't matter if it works. It's just a habit. Just like some need to pray before a meal, or some only smoke a certain brand of cigarettes. When behavior becomes a habit, it starts to take on another meaning and leads to many memories. Looking at the side of her face, deep in thought, I realized even she had a sentimental side. Speaking of cigarettes, I'm pretty sure this is a pack of cigarettes. Cigarettes have been mentioned so many times in this game. If this isn't relevant, then I'm going to be mad at the writer. I'm not sure what brand it is, but the smell is not as bad as I thought after inhaling it for a while. They're in a blue package. What brand are they? I should try to ask about it. It might be the clue to identifying who she is. What is the brand of cigarette you smoke? Why, you want to try it out? Nah, I'm fine. Then why ask? Just found it smell special. She figured telling me wouldn't matter much, so she answered easily. Light 7. My dad only smokes these. Your dad? He hit the road a long time ago. Shitty man who doesn't take care of his family. I will kill him if I ever meet him. Seeing how angry she got, I found something strange. Wasn't it just contradictory to hate someone yet smoke the same brand of cigarettes? That's a note update. Okay, I'll take it. She still smoked the same brand of cigarettes as her father despite her dislike of him. Surely she was also conflicted. Okay, I think that's probably enough observing. I'm really tempted to observe the phone. Although, I do want to get some chatting in today for this action phase here. And odds are the phone will probably be disappointing anyways. Okay, so we've got what's next, how much does she know, do you really think you can get out, how much do you actually owe? I kind of like the idea of, do you really think you can get out of this unscathed? Maybe. Or not. I forget if I used that one last time or not. Because if I think reinforcing the idea of, hey, just the whole ransom thing might not work out very well, is maybe a good idea. Maybe puts us in a position where we can leverage a deal here and now? Then there's how much do you actually owe, which kind of sympathizes with her plight. Oh. I'm pretty sure we did this one last time. Not certain about this one. I want to go for how much do you actually owe. How much money do you actually owe? Why are you asking this? It was rare she didn't reply in mean words, just coldly. Just wondering. I'm just a curious guy. Just wondering. Because I think just wondering kind of puts me in the position of, hey, you know, I just want to know where you're coming from. I'm just curious about it. Whereas the other one implies that I have a bit of a motive to asking. Does it matter? Just a number I can't afford. Probably isn't much for folks like you. She replied mockingly and lit up a cigarette. She turned her head and said no more. Okay, maybe that one wasn't the best one. Although we might get more options later. Day 4, noon. Seeing that I had gotten better, she walked towards me with the rope. Your hands. Do you really need to tie me up? I can't escape like this. This or this. Take your pick. Okay, so I know that this is going to come up with an option immediately. The option is rope, like, you know, rope or knife. Obviously the only sane thing is the rope, right? Because knife is, oh, I want to get stabbed, I guess, right? No sane person would pick the knife over the rope. But, I mean, are we really in... I don't think we're honestly in a scenario where if I pick knife, she just flat out stabs me right here on the spot, right? Surely that can't be the case, right? I mean, she's still got the ransom thing going through, and just paid some money to get me medicine so I didn't die, so I don't think she stabs me on the spot if I pick knife. Not to mention, maybe it's not just stabbing, maybe it's, hey, how about we take this knife and cut the rope, or, hey, I'd like to have the knife. Not that She motioned to the rope in her left hand and the knife on the right. This could be the most stupid decision ever, but, like, maybe it's crazy enough to work. The knife. I picked knife. Wait, what does that even mean? Let me stab both your legs, then I won't tie you up. Never mind, the rope is fine. Your choice, not mine. Okay. The bread she brought back for lunch was the classic scallion bread with pork floss. The long absent flavor spread in my mouth and made this meal a feast after days of nothing but nutritive biscuits. In contrast to me wolfing down the bread, she showed no appetite next to the window. What was she thinking about? I decided to focus on the bread before me since I had just recovered from illness. You bought so many flavors this time. How come? Seeing all the flavors in the bag, I was confused by her generosity. They're leftovers. They're gonna throw them out anyway. She coldly turned her head and grunted with distaste. Hate those fancy shops that take pride in their quality. I'd rather throw out bread than give it to those in need. Do you know what they say? If we gave the leftovers to others, the original customers would never buy them. All for such a petty reason. She mockingly laughed, despising the self-proclaimed fancy shops. From their point of view, they do have a point. I replenished some strength after filling my stomach and started to chat with her. It might be hard to understand, just like people not getting why others would pay thousands of Taiwan dollars for a steak or much more for a pair of headphones. For most people, food was just to relieve hunger. For some people, however, it was a pursuit of the ultimate sensation of taste. Time does affect the bread's texture. The store needs to maintain the quality for their reputation. If the shop cut the price when there was some left over, then people would only come right before closing. This would affect the profitability negatively. I initially wanted to explain the impact of expectation mindset, but decided to go with a simpler way to explain it. The shop needs to make a profit, so it is only natural for them to... Only natural? Didn't I just say? It isn't a matter of throwing it away or not, but the mentality of the customers would impact profit. That's what pissed me off. What quality, what reputation? So some brand reputation is more important than starving people? Does nothing matter besides the money? That's natural to you? Her staring eyes were burning with fire, like those that had seen the worst of humanity and were overflowing with rage. Why don't you try to change that, then? This could be very confrontational, but the other one didn't work out the best last time, so... Oh, why don't you try to change that instead of complaining to me about it? I still had issues with her whining attitude. Even if one couldn't choose one's upbringing, complaining wouldn't make it better. If the game's rules couldn't be changed, then why not try to play by the rules first, then change them when you could do so? There's always the option to just slit your throat, hang yourself, or jump off a building, hoping it would be better next time. Still a better alternative than whining all day long. Yes, I can only change it with my own hands. Surprisingly, there was no rebuttal, just a mysterious smile on her darkened face. I'd gone through beatings and threats, but her smile right there scared me more than ever. I agree. The girl was looking outside the window with the cigarette. She was always extra quiet when smoking, like it was some serious ritual. Heh. That is not the reaction I expected from that. In a room only a few square feet in size, two people with opposite backgrounds quietly sat, preoccupied with their own thoughts. How old was she? What happened? Why was she doing this? I thought I didn't care, but the more time we spent together, the more I realized how different she was from my imagination. The criminals in the news all looked evil and inhumane. It was hard to imagine they might have their stories too. The things they like, the things they hate, the people they cherish, their worries, their thoughts. There was a sentence from a book. Everyone tried to live better. No one would think of him or herself as being irrational or crazy. If you felt that way, that meant you didn't know that person well enough. I didn't try to understand them. The fast-paced modern society made it exhausting to take care of oneself, let alone others. We didn't care what others were like. Labeling them as good guy or bad guy was just that much easier. So, what now? Alright, any interesting observations? There is still the phone. And, we do have access to the bathroom now. I forget when that happened. Which I'm not certain how... Like, none of these things immediately strike me as particularly useful. Right? The phone, though, I would like to observe that. But first, before we make any decisions here, I want to take a look at the chat options. So it's... There's do we know each other, which is interesting. Okay. Let's observe the phone first. Only soldiers or some tech manufacturers still use this kind of antique cell phone. Even old people use smartphones these days. Old phones can't connect to the internet or leave a traceable GPS signal. You can only track location through a phone call. Is that why she uses it? You have quite an antique phone. It's usable, and I don't need all those fancy features of other phones anyway. Well, the manufacturers need to make money with new products, and the technology is advancing, so... And how many of those do you really need? She coldly interrupted me. Some don't even have a phone, while others waste their lives to build all these fancy gimmicks. Just like some people are starving, while others are picky with their food and call themselves food critics. I really find people like you disgusting. So be it. Feeling the deep-rooted hatred in her look, I nonchalantly shrugged. Those things existed before, exist now, and will continue to exist in the future. We don't choose which part of the world we were born in. We could only struggle in this world with the pre-established rules. What now? With regards to the bathroom. Right? I feel like there's got to be something in here that's useful, but I don't know what. Perhaps just an observation of the sink would be useful. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, I just can't imagine what information I could gain from observing any of these. It's just an old, decrepit bathroom. Unless... No, I don't think so. I think we're probably better off chatting. We could try the do we know each other. I mean, do you have any reason to think we do? So, the last name is Huang. Why'd she pick me as a target? Maybe it was discrimination. She seemed close to the little girl. She smoked the same brand of cigarettes as her father, despite disliking him. Well, do we know each other? Do we know each other? No way. Our lives have nothing to do with yours. Hearing my question, she snorted mockingly. Really? Somehow I think I've seen you before. Hearing how insistent I was, she tilted her head and started thinking. Maybe in the shop? No, that's impossible. Or maybe you've seen me on the news or in the police station, huh? Her smile seemed to sharply cut me. Her pointed words made it hard to get too close. Then why me? Ha! Still thinking about that? She sighed impatiently. She waved her hand to indicate she'd lost interest in this exchange. Your dad is filthy rich and you live by yourself. Can you think of a better target? Or you think there was some backstory? Just blame yourself for being too careless and your dad for being too rich? I was still uncertain if the culprit was someone I knew. The fact that she knew this much about my household was just bizarre. That question aside, didn't she mention a shop? She had worked in a shop. What kind of shop? So what now? Okay, what chatting options do we have? You got about what's next. What do you plan to do with the little girl? And then there's also observation, which we could observe, like the bathroom, the window, or something. But I just don't see what we could gain from observing anything in the bathroom. And my best bet would be maybe the sink, because there's like a toothbrush there. But I say we go with what do you plan to do? Well, I don't know. Because we talked a lot in the last one, but that didn't help us much. This feels so stupid, but let's observe the sink. I wasn't expecting to see running water from the faucet. There are toothbrushes and cups as well. Do they really live here? Do you live here? Why do you ask? She didn't answer directly, but carefully asked back. After I managed to trick her a few times, she got more and more careful when talking to me, fearing to reveal more information. I saw toothbrushes and glasses in the bathroom, so I thought you might live here. What do you think? I think only homeless people would find this place attractive. Hearing my honest answer, she covered her mouth and giggled in a bit of a mockingly manner. We're not that far off from being homeless, just slightly more fortunate. Well, at least that was a conversation, I guess. That's a good sign. Day 4, night. Finally, we should take a look at this new note. There's still running water. I was a little surprised. That's not very useful. The girl put down the phone and loosened her tense brow, along with a sigh of relief. What's up? Lucky for you, things have worked out. Your dad will pay tomorrow. For real? Duh, why would I lie to you? She seemed to be in a rather good mood, since all I got was just a look rather than a solid flying kick. Stay put and nothing will happen to you. So you will let me go? Who knows? Just don't have any funny ideas and wait patiently until tomorrow. She gave no promise and just shrugged with an ambiguous attitude. It went differently than I expected. According to my understanding of my father, he would have tried to buy more time to let the police track the kidnappers down. Yet instead he conceded, rather easily. Did he really plan to just pay up? Knowing him, he wouldn't believe the kidnapper's claim so easily. He must have a plan. No idea. I didn't know what he had in mind, which was a sad realization of how distant our relationship was. Why do you look so pissed? Did your brain burn out? She asked with a little surprise after seeing me not saying anything with a lowered head. As if. I responded vaguely. While I didn't think things would go this smoothly, I had no intention to tell my kidnapper that. Without noticing my concern, she mumbled before opening a can of soda next to the window. She leaned back against the wall and let out a long, tired sigh. She clearly didn't have it better than me. Outside of preventing me from escaping, she also had to worry about the police and negotiation process with my family. It might seem like it would be over soon, but the key event was tomorrow. Would they really pay as promised? Could it just be a means to buy time? They always say parents will pay any amount of money for their children's safety. Don't make me laugh. We're not a normal family. Nothing could be done with this broken excuse of relationship. Despite telling myself not to have any hope, I still wished for them to pay up. The self-contradiction even I couldn't really explain. My head started to ache again while pondering it. I tried to rest against the wall, but all sorts of thoughts stuck in my mind. Be a good boy at home, okay? Liar. So what's with your mother? Huh? I came back to my senses from the fuzzy memory and answered absent-mindedly. Why is there no contact at all from your mother? She's right here in Taiwan, but refuses to show up after her own son is kidnapped? That's strange. Maybe she's busy. All the unpleasant memories came to mind, making me try to change the subject reflexively. Are you kidding me? She raised her eyebrow, clearly not pleased with this answer. In retrospect, it really wasn't a convincing answer, but I still didn't intend to say more than that. Why do you care about my family? Are you an arranged marriage agent? If you let me go, I can give you my number. Maybe we... I stopped right in the middle of the sentence. There was only my voice throughout the conversation. She would normally have interrupted me by now. A strange silence spread across the room. I lifted my gaze and looked into her black eyes, realizing I sucked at hiding my thoughts. You really talk a lot when it's about things you don't want to answer. Is that some rich boy habit? Maybe. I didn't expect her to notice such details, so I acknowledged her sharp observation with a bitter smile. Didn't you figure me all out already? You should know our relationship was bad. All I care about is if you have money. Your relationship is none of my business. Why now, then? I responded casually, but couldn't help but wonder about the intention behind this question. Sheer curiosity? I felt it wasn't that simple. I just want to hear from you what's wrong with your mom. Even Mr. Ken said it was pointless to contact her. Mr. Ken? Never mind. So are you gonna talk or not? Seeing her impatiently brushing her hair, I lowered my head to ponder how to respond. I didn't know where to start, really. It was embarrassing, and I didn't feel the need to tell her. What, is she your stepmother or your father's mistress? Seeing me now pondering, she started to guess randomly, and managed to get pretty close to the truth. Something like that. Just the roles are reversed. Huh? In the end, I decided to go with the easiest explanation. My mom had another man. It wasn't really something I couldn't talk about, but it just triggered tons of unhappy memories. Since I was a kid, she often went out with someone, but I didn't know where to and what for. It sometimes would take her a whole week before she came home. Even the housekeeper couldn't give me a direct answer. Your mom is having an affair. There'd be no way for me to tell a 10-year-old that either. Oh. She supported her head with a smile on her face, which looked more like gloating than sympathy. You guys are strange, always doing these sorts of things. Affair, inheritance fights. Don't you have better things to do? Not expecting me to answer, she started to talk to herself and laughed as though hoping to balance things out by hearing others' misfortune. What a poor man your dad is, making all the money abroad just to raise a woman for another man. He knows. He knows? I said it casually and saw her staring at me dumbfounded. Yeah, he knew about my mother's affair. Cool story, right? Are you an idiot? I have a sense of humor. Why didn't they divorce? Did he forgive her? Or maybe your mother has the money? She ignored my joke and kept prying. After confirming the ransom payment, she'd become a lot more talkative. Who knows? I don't care, nor do I want to figure it out. They like it this way, and I can't do anything about it. I actually asked about that, just once. I could never forget his reaction back then. I angrily told him about Mother's affair, and the hand touching me tensed up immediately. Yet the shock only stayed on his face momentarily before being replaced by another emotion. Some sense of relief. He softly rubbed my head and told me, Mommy didn't have an affair, I simply misunderstood. Misunderstood? No explanation, just one single word. With the company increasing in size, he spent more and more time abroad. Never did he ask of Mother's whereabouts, nor confront her as though nothing happened. Why didn't he ask her? Why didn't they divorce? Why feign ignorance? I couldn't ask anything, seeing his soft smile and the unanswered questions became the gap between us. It got wider over time until it became an unfixable distance. Maybe he has a mistress too. The marriage was just a ruse. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Does your dad still love her? After staying silent for a while, she eventually asked. I don't know. At least I couldn't. I didn't say the second part, and it didn't matter what the answer was. I deleted her phone number that day, and I moved out during high school, keeping minimal contact with my family. Since money came in every month, meeting up or not didn't matter. Maybe she knew that we already found out about it. No, maybe she wanted us to find out. In retrospect, too many things didn't make sense. There are better excuses for the affair to keep me from discovering it. She wanted Dad to know. Unbelievable as it was, it did explain many things. To force him to propose divorce? Test his reaction? Regardless of the motive, there was no argument or confrontation as I expected, just the status quo. Maybe she wanted to get alimony by forcing her dad to divorce. No one would openly have an affair to get alimony. No judge would be so stupid. She tried to find an explanation with a darkened expression. Save it, you won't find an answer. They've been like this for years. They at least tried to hide it from me when I was young. Now they don't even bother. The moment she was on the plane, she was already on her way to spend the night with another man. She just needed to play the good wife when he came home, as though nothing happened. It was like an adult version of playing house. The curtain raised and everyone played their arranged parts. You are the dad working abroad, you are the mom taking care of the house, you are the kid that needs to go to school. We all knew it was fake, but no one would spell it out. I kept thinking that if my dad's company wasn't that big, If my family wasn't that rich, maybe things could have been different. You think things would be different without the money? I had expected that to trigger her. She started laughing coldly. Why is it so difficult for you to just openly discuss this? Do you really have to make it more complicated? Seeing her angry reaction, I somehow felt a little reassured. I finally confirmed I myself wasn't abnormal, but that my family relationship was abnormal. Things wouldn't go away if you pretended you didn't see them. That was just lying to yourself. Make things clear and break up if there is no more love. Don't keep perpetuating a lie if you don't want to be together. How simple is that? Who knows? They like it that way. I didn't want to argue with her. The world is too complicated, too many people, too many things that will take a lifetime to understand. Why do they do that? Why does society function like this? Why can't one ever be satisfied? I don't know. If there is no answer, then you just accept it. Reality wouldn't change just because you don't agree with it, or because you know the cause. Don't know. Are you nuts? She waved her hand impatiently, as though nothing I said was worth a dime. Why don't you figure it out if you find it strange? Are you some soap opera protagonist? You don't get it, even if I... You're the one who doesn't get it. Abruptly interrupting me, she coldly responded. You don't know how lucky you are. You don't know how many people envy you. You just keep saying you can't do it. How many people want to be like you? And yet, here you are telling me, I wish I had less money. So quit the self-pity. You are lucky, rich boy. If you want to escape from even this type of problem, you might as well just die. Angry as usual, but this time it seemed different. I could tell she was treating what I'd said seriously, and was dumbfounded by that realization. I never told anyone about my family. I realized it wouldn't matter even if I did. Is that it? How come? Poor thing. The pointless reactions were just exhausting. No one really cared, and then it became a random subject of chit-chat. It was like talking about disasters on social media. All the self-righteous comments were really just empty words on things that had nothing to do with you. All it did was notify others. Hey, I know about this. I have a heart. It's all meaningless. If you want to escape from even this type of problem, you may as well just die. Upon hearing that, I realized I was escaping. Fearing that atmosphere, fearing my parents, I ran into my own world and never attempted to negotiate with them. What? Say something. Seeing me not saying anything, she stared at me coldly while brushing her messy hair. No. You are right. I sighed. I actually felt much better despite my situation remaining the same. She went silent, hoping to see if I was mocking her or being honest. Then she spat and turned her head away, seemingly more awkward than mad. Doesn't matter what you think. I would be seeing you again after getting the money tomorrow. Huh. Good luck. She lit up a cigarette. The faint tobacco smell permeated the room, along with the cool night air. If they did get the money tomorrow, and everything just ended, that would be the best possible outcome. I shook my head and laughed at myself. Even I couldn't believe that. Life is fated to be a tragedy. We thus live in the hope of a miracle. I called that line. The air I breathed out turned into white smoke. Through it, I saw the foggy moon outside the window. Even if just once. I hoped a miracle would happen. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. The girl was falling asleep in the chair. She had woken up a few times in a fit of drowsiness. Even the energy drink didn't help much. Worrying she might really fall asleep, she decided to sit next to the door with the blankets. There's only one exit. He would have to go through here if he wanted to escape. Even triple-checking the ropes couldn't remove the unease. The image of him escaping came into her mind every time she closed her eyes. It would be all over in a few hours. That was the simple determination that kept her going till now. She had imagined how she would pay off the debt multiple times, and now she could see the end of the line. She didn't know how to avoid rest or what to do afterwards. She just had the belief that things would be different. Just a few more hours. The quiet sleep-talking echoed through the room. The girl secretly closed her eyes. Okay, well that's day 4 done. The scenario is still so similar to what ended up happening last time. I don't know. Have we just made the same mistakes all over again, just with slightly different flourishes now? I guess we'll see on day 5. There's still time. Anyways, well, maybe there isn't, I don't know. But anyways, guys, that'll be it for this episode. Until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.